The other news that we want to talk about right after this is the announcement that a Mandalorian game is in the works at Respawn. Basically, it's kind of similar to what we saw with that Indiana Jones presentation. It's going to be a first-person game where you're in the shoes of Mandalorian. It's not confirmed who you're playing as yet. It's not like the Mandalorian that we know. It could be, but from what we know, it might not be. And then so basically, the other news is that it's a very fast-paced game and it rewards players who play with that style. It's focused on mobility. It's more of a linear game, kind of like I don't know if it's going to be exactly like this, but like Respawn made Jedi Fallen Order, and that was a technically linear game with a lot of like open world levels.
Right.
So I think it could be similar to that. It's set during the Galactic Civil War, and you can capture bounties dead or alive for cash rewards. So in a sense, this kind of reminds me of like the Star Wars Outlaws game, where you're kind of
what I was going to say. Yeah.
Right. Where you're, I mean, I guess in that one you're working outside the law. This one you're dealing with those individuals, but you're on the other side of it. So I don't know. I think in general this is super exciting. Like I obviously like third person games more, but like I'm a huge fan of Dishonored. I don't know if you ever played those games.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is like one of the best examples of how to do like a first person action game. And I think if they can pull it off, like oh man, I feel bad for forgetting the developer's name, but it's Bethesda over top of it's Arcane. Arcane, I think, is what their name is. If they can pull it off somewhat like Arcane, I think that's exciting. And I don't know if you've played Apex Legends.
Yeah.
But that is a first person, very fast paced game. So if they wanted to take the mechanics straight from their own game and kind of modify them, I think that works super well too. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I grew up playing first person games that I like them, you know, probably more.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people who don't. And I like third person. It was actually strange. I had a very hard time getting used to third person games because I just played so many first persons.
Wow.
Yeah. But now I'm like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. And to some extent, like, yeah, if you were to tell me, like, do you want a Mandalorian game in first person or third person? I would probably say third person. But I think that's because the first person has kind of gone out of style and nobody's been able to do it very well or make it exciting again. And, you know, like we saw with the Indiana Jones game, maybe like, because that looked pretty good. Looked, you know, and I like,
in a sense, it sounds more exciting to be in the shoes of like your favorite character, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of like watching them do things in a way. Yeah.
Now, I don't know how you would fit in the mechanics of Apex Legends into a Mandalorian game.
Sure, but if you wanted to move that fast, and I don't know, I feel like the movement is kind of what I'm talking about more.
That would be very exciting, depending on like how the action like levels go on the Mandalorian game. Like if you're going to capture a bounty and like there's a lot of gunfighting, like that could be really interesting if it was that fast paced as opposed to something like Jedi Fallen Order where it's more like you have a whole wide range. I think maybe it could work because it's like if you're gunned down and you're first person, like you can't see the whole perspective the way that you could with a third person, and it could make it feel more intense, which is kind of something that I always liked about those games.
Yeah, I guess that's interesting because they also like they mentioned that they don't know if there's going to be like a multiplayer yet, and I was like, well, would this game need a multiplayer at all? But like, you know, it almost sounds like the mechanics would be there for it if you wanted to like have multiplayer like battles in a sense, you know, as multiple Mandalorians. I think that'd be very cool.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it where it's like capture the flag, but it's capture the bounty, or like you're the bounty, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And your friend could, like, your friends or somebody else could hog tie you or
yeah, because
you.
they used to do that in Assassin's Creed. Like when I played Brotherhood, they had a multiplayer like mode where you could. I think that's what it was. The like you were hunting somebody, but somebody was also hunting you at the same time.
Yeah.
And so you had to kind of be like stealthy, but like trying to find your target. So I think if you did something like that, that would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
I'd be very into that.
And I mean, like a Mandalorian game, like it could be very profitable. It could be
for
very,
sure.
very profitable.
For sure. And I think this is part of like, I think that like, I know Bob Iger and maybe it wasn't Bob Iger, but like Disney in general was like, video games are a huge part of the market and we need to start like getting into that market more. I think this is very much like we see the success Respawn has had with our Star Wars games. Let's give them another opportunity in their own actual style and see what they do with it. And I think that's super exciting. So
yeah, and I mean like it's not like necessarily Star Wars games have gone away. Because there's always like things here and there, but there used to be so many cool Star Wars games.
And more will start coming out because it's not just EA making the Star Wars games now.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think it's a long time coming for more Star Wars games.
And like if you're not doing good in the movie and TV department, like the games, not always, but the games have been very like popular.
Yeah. The only one that hasn't really like performed well is Battlefront, but even then like they do pretty good numbers wise. So
well, it wasn't there like a Squadron too.
Oh yeah, but I don't think any of them have been like critically panned though, you know, like some of the shows or movies have. Like I think for the most part like people play those games, you know, even if people didn't love Battlefront, people played those games for quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's exciting. I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't expect it to come out till probably, if it comes out, probably like 2027.
Like, Respawn is quick. Like, I'll give them that. So I think at the earliest we'll get it in 2026. At the earliest.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say at the earliest, yeah, but I feel like realistically, maybe 2027.
No, I feel you. But, you know, like they put out Jedi Fallen Order and I think Apex in the same year. So they're capable of putting out multiple projects at the same time. So who knows how long it'll take. But
sure.
I definitely wouldn't hold your breath. Yeah.
Yeah.